Hey.
Hey,
What's
party
up, good
people.
people?
Hey, party people. And you too, Sean.
Oh,
What's going on?
Whoops.
she giving you the business already, and we ain't even
Okay,
got
I was
started.
not trying. Listen, I was not trying to give you the business. Hey, sure.
Hey, sure. How you
Yes, we
doing?
are going to have a great session. Thank you, baby.
Yes. Yes. All right,
Yes,
so we was talking a little shit behind the scenes because yesterday was
absolutely.
420.
420 day. So, everybody that 420, I hope that you realize that on 421, you may have to take a few tests. I'm just saying.
I hate it for
I
anybody
wouldn't
whose
got
job
this
was like, hey,
freaking-
random drug test.
Look. What did that girl say? You about to lose your job. Okay. You about to lose your job. Get your ass. You about to no, let me stop.
Oh my god.
See, if you have one of those type of jobs and you already got precautions in place, because you already knew they gonna want to get down like that, so you're gonna stop by the shop and get you some synthetic urine that'll test clean and
That
positive.
doesn't work.
It
And
does.
and don't mess around and get your girl to pee for you because she may be pregnant.
Now that's true. That's true. But now it does work. It don't work all the time, but it does work sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. So listen, my thing is when I was active duty Navy, there was a guy named Petty Officer Earl.
Ooh,
Petty Officer Earl. Yeah, that was his name was Petty Officer Earl. I can't even remember his first name, but I remember that we all had to take turns taking Earl to Alcoholics Anonymous to the meetings and stuff, right? But he also did a little, other stuff. So Petty Officer Earl's number would often pop on the random his test. Why we both have a 3 at the end? I'd be like, damn it, Earl. But wait, I have to tell you about the one day that I was picking up Earl, and he said, "Take me to liquor store." I was like, "Didn't you just leave that meeting?" And he was senior to me, but we had to make sure he went to the meeting, so somebody would drop him off, somebody would pick him up. And he said, "Take me to the liquor store." I said, "Didn't you just leave that meeting? Didn't you learn anything?" He said, "Yeah, I learned I need another fucking drink. Now take me to the liquor store." I was like, "Ooh, okay then." Yeah, there was that.
well, all right then.
Girl, the 80s, early 90s was wild.
I'm
Yeah,
sure it was.
that's some wild shit.
Oh, shut up, Sean. You was right there in that shit.
I mean, but I mean, that's
We've
some
been
wild
friends
shit.
how long? Since 90,
Oh,
90, 91? Yeah, you was right up in that shit, bro.
I mean, that's still some wild shit, though. I mean, you coming from a AA meeting, like take me to the liquor store. I was like, damn, nigga.
The only thing
Kind.
is that he could, because, he was only allowed to go from work to the room and to those meetings and stuff. And so they had took his car, and so he was on restriction. And he wanted me
wow.
to take him in between. I was like, shit, you want me to be on restriction with your ass there? Because, they believed in what we call was 45, 45, half month's pay times 2. That means 45 days restriction, 45 days extra duty, and half a month's pay for 2 months. We already broke. And then we Take half our check, bruh. Nah, I can't afford to be here with you, dog.
I'm with Sean though. That's a little bit ludicrous right there. Your ass just get out the meeting and coercing people using your rank to take you to the liquor store. Sir needed help. He needed to be an inpatient detox.
He was from New York. Need I say more? In that puppy hometown.
I got nothing to say. Got nothing.
I'm just
I
saying.
got nothing but love for you, baby. Got nothing for love. Got nothing but love for you, baby.
I don't know, Sean, but Philly was wild too in them days.
I mean, that's true. That's true. But I'm just saying, like, when you're in the military, you're supposed to be on some different shit. But everybody can't
We all
do
on
the
some
right
different
thing.
shit. We have
Everybody.
access to more shit because we
I
go.
mean, I wasn't talking. I was just saying, just a normal, like, you're supposed to have certain standards. Now do the other shit. Fuck with people. Yeah, definitely. But what I'm saying, like,
We were on we did have other standards. We listen. You learn how to club all night and still make it to muster in the morning and
Gypsy
work
said
all
we
day.
heard it was real. Okay.
well, I feel that.
Listen,
Like
that being said,
yes,
I thank you for your service, Miss Ma'am.
absolutely. But let me tell you,
Mm.
I ain't one to gossip, so you ain't heard it from me. But so my son, my youngest son, he
Yeah.
gonna tell me you was in there serving the wrong man. Here you was, you supposed to be serving Uncle Sam, but you serving somebody. Then here I come, and now I got to pay bills.
Mm.
Sound like he got you together. Okay.
Mm.
I was but
I
what
might
can I say though?
have told him to go shut the fuck up and sit down somewhere, but okay.
Hey, but was it wrong though? He is
You know
here.
what?
He is evidence of the facts that he spit.
He is evidence of the consequences and the repercussions. Okay.
That's
I
still
don't
that's,
know.
that's
Everybody has
mean
done some wrong.
that,
Everybody
that
just don't have proof.
that still don't mean the truth. The truth don't hurt though.
That's
God
what they
damn
say.
it.
That's what they say. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
moving on
Yeah.
into tonight's topic, we talking about tit and tat. Okay, tit for
That's
tat,
it.
tit and tat, tit and that tat, whatever you want to call it. Pettiness at its finest. And
Well,
so I'm gonna start off by asking Sean and Gypsy, have y'all ever felt like you were doing tit for tat in your relationships?
yeah. 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 Back when I was married, I did.
Murder. Okay.
I was titting and tatting back then.
Oh.
Once I realized that, I was just petty. Once I realized I was done, then my petty kicked in. And my petty is bigger than yours.
Yeah.
So there was that. I would just do stuff. If I heard he did stuff, I would do stuff too. If I
Okay.
saw he did stuff, I'd do even worse. So first to get you for the, I get you for the perception of you doing some stuff. And then I'm gonna get you for the actual when I catch you doing stuff. But so yeah, I've been guilty.
What's going on?
I've been guilty of the tit for tat. Yeah, I've been guilty of the tit for tat. I've also been on the receiving end of the tit for tat. And mind you, the perception of me doing something, not just, oh, I caught you. No, it was just the perception. And the perception got me, on the wrong end of it. So sometimes we have to be careful because when we are engaging in this tit for tat type behavior, sometimes it's your own bad experiences that are leading you to believe that you're seeing what you're seeing. Now, I'm not saying that anybody's crazy or that sometimes, you're not seeing what you think you're seeing. But what I'm saying is sometimes we jump to conclusions.
And I feel you on that. I'm just laughing because you got you got to understand from that other person's point of view when it's something as simple as you say hi to somebody and they like, oh, why you all up in their face? Like, whoa, I was just being a kind person. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, calm down.
Maybe you was grinning a little too hard, Sean.
I mean, okay, so what I'm supposed to just mean mug? Like, don't
No,
talk to me. Fuck
but
yeah.
no, there's those flirtatious looks. Jay, you know what I'm talking about, right? There's those flirtatious looks. When you grinning a little too hard, it's like, what's happening?
I'm laughing because this low-key just happened to a friend of mine in real life. She told me this morning how her and her husband were coming out of a restaurant and they saw a couple who she thought was somebody else. So she walked up to the dude and was like, hey, how you doing? Gave him a hug, then gave the wife a hug, like, how you doing? And then when they walked off, realized it was that. And her husband was like, I'm glad she wasn't a fight type and I had to intervene.
Yeah, that's messed up.
I bet you she got home and gave that dude the business. Like, who the fuck was she?
Right.
I get it. Like, sometimes you like, nah, for real. Right. Why she all up on you? Why she hugging you like that? You know?
You better get your side bitch in check. She thinks she can just do that out in public. The fuck?
I don't even know her. Well, why
and
she
hugging me
Oh shit, that's fucking.
I am not her sister wife.
Like, how many arguments have probably started over something innocent in public? Because I have people all the time that'll be like, hey, and I'll be like, hey, I have no idea who they are. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of times we mistake somebody for something, or they may know you, they may remember you from seeing you at an event or whoever, whatever. You don't know them. But if your person doesn't have security within themselves, you know what I'm saying, or there's already an issue in the relationship, it's going to lead to some bullshit. Especially if you're a natural flirt. That's another thing. If you're a natural flirt, and everywhere you go, you making friends and hey, dapping folks up and high fiving, and everybody like you and love you because you're charismatic. You got to have some great communication for your partner to be okay with that.
You see the point there, right?
I mean, you can't help that, man. That's just who you are. That's your personality.
You better fix your face.
No.
So you gotta stop being yourself. You can't just be yourself.
This is what I used to tell my ex, because he was like that and I was like that, right? So we had it on both sides. So when we would be out in public and I'm just being me, he'd be like, dude, why you was being all extra nice to him? I'm like, if you don't shut the fuck up. But we be out and he be waving and hey, Miss Shirley and hey, Miss Linda, and they all loving up on him. I'm like, you don't see this? You know what I'm saying? So we have to have self-awareness, number one. And number two, we have to have open communication and trust, strong foundation. But you also have to know your person. Like if you know I was never worried about him cheating. I just wanted him to see the equal. Like, you out here being everybody bestie like I am. Like, dude, what is we talking about? You know what I'm saying? So I think that comes down to communication, knowing yourself, knowing your person, and acknowledging where you got to make sure that you're strengthening what you have. Hey, Alicia.
Hello, Alicia. Welcome.
So as y'all coming in, make sure that you're clicking the like button to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you click that link and share so that you can tell your people. Because I promise you, if you ain't really sharing, I don't really think you like them like that. That's all I'm saying. But yeah. But I feel like that comes down to communication. And I've seen some people low-key be disrespectful with it. So I'm the type of chick that I can be out with my man and be like, damn, she got a fat ass. She got a nice ass. Or, or she's gorgeous, or her body is banging, or whatever. And he might look at her and be like, you know what, babe, you're right. That I don't have a problem with that. But once it's done, if we moving on and you continuing to stare, that's when we're gonna have the problem. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because we
But
looking, we not
you
fucking
pointed
touching.
you pointed it out to me and shit. Now I'm
Uh-uh.
just like, oh shit, like I didn't even see that. Good look. Oh shit, god damn.
No, that's when you gotta keep it moving. Like, you know what, you keep it the fuck moving. I can be in,
That part.
like we talked about last week. I can go in a strip club with my dude and we can make it rain on somebody because we going home together, right? But you can still be disrespectful with how you oogle a person or stare too long and make it weird. You know what I'm saying? That's what I say. Let me close this window because my dog outside and she acting like a hellcat with all that damn barking. I'll be right back.
Well, you know how they do. So anyway, Sean, what I was going to say is that sometimes we have situations where the person actually knows what they're doing, or they actually low-key don't care if it bothers somebody, it bothers their partner.
I would
When
agree.
you have that going on, when you have people that don't care when they bother that it bothers their partner, then that's when it's time to think about maybe leaving.
I
If that
agree.
makes
If you don't
sense.
feel respected, shit, it's time to be out.
That part.
And
Yeah.
and,
But
and, and, and I understand, I do understand that, and I guess this is just my naivete. But I don't, because I don't do like malicious shit, like purposely. I'm like, fuck that. I don't care about your feelings. So me just being me, you know, if it rubs you the wrong way, I apologize, but I'm just me. I mean, I like to have fun. I like to engage with people. And it's not nothing like, oh, I don't care about somebody's feelings. Or, it's just like, yo, I mean, I don't, because whether it's a dude or female, it don't matter to me. I'm not, because if I'm with you, especially if I'm with you and we everywhere we at together, like what makes you think I'm just, but I can understand where you're coming from, because trust
Well,
me, it's,
back in the day, some
it's
folks would,
I'm just
hey,
saying, I
especially
know it's,
things at them swinging clubs.
I know it's people out there like that that's all about themselves and what they can get for themselves. So but that's why I said what I said. Because yeah,
like they say, tricks is for kids. And I think a lot of people are out here playing kiddie games with each other. You know what I'm saying? They're not on the up and up. They're not being upfront with themselves or one another. And that's where a lot of that pettiness and that tip for tat comes in, that she hurt your feelings because you feel like she was lingering with dude too
Right.
long. So now you gonna go out here and oogle over the next chick and ooh and ah over her to make her feel bad. And then you're gonna get home and argue. Like I see people do that all the time. And I'm like, I just ain't got that kind of
Mhm.
energy. If I gotta
Or,
be doing all
or
that with you, I want to be with you.
or saying little cutting little remarks
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you think you smart because I don't have look," or "You think you something because I ain't getting no award at my little job."
Right.
Basically low key. Listen, like for real, Sean, there's people out here like that.
understand. Trust me, I do.
And the thing is unfortunately, a lot of times we make excuses for bad behavior because we want to believe better of them.
Well,
But the key is you need to stop believing better and believe what they're showing you.
I think that goes back to how do you feel about yourself? I've never chosen to stay very long in a relationship where I felt like somebody was intentionally trying to harm me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
if I feel like I'm not quite sure, if I can't say 100%, I think that's what you're doing. I'm gonna give it a minute because I don't want to react off of my own insecurities or my perceptions, right? I'm gonna really make sure that I feel like that's what you're doing, and I'm gonna be out. Whether it's you're talking to me crazy, whether it's your actions or whatever it is, I'm gonna
Mhm.
watch. And as soon as I feel like, nah, I'm out. But I think a lot of times people stay, whether it's that they feel like they can't get anything else, whether they're afraid of starting over, whether they feel like they've got so much time in it, they've invested, they don't want to, whatever the reason. And so then they start to put up with a lot of things that they maybe in the past thought they wouldn't have, maybe they don't want to. And so it makes room for that protect to grow and that pettiness to grow because now the person that's doing it recognizes, oh, they're not going nowhere. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I know somebody that got married at 76. So
Facts.
listen, that's your goal. Then,
Facts.
then do it. But the thing is that don't accept bad behavior. Because that was the thing is that now don't get me wrong, y'all be thinking probably that I didn't love my ex-husband. I did. But when he showed me who he was, I believed him. And I went on and went into self-preservation mode. And going into self-preservation mode can also lead you to be petty because you already see that somebody is set out to hurt you.
Yeah.
Then you will actually start striking first, if that makes sense.
Survival.
And
So you saying you got your get back before it was get back to be gotten?
no, I'm saying I
Oh,
got my get back. So listen, I didn't start being that way until he cheated on me while my mother was dying.
oh, okay. I understand.
So
And
there's a
then
difference.
that's another layer of it. Like if somebody's in active trauma, you know what I'm saying, and or active pain or traumatic experience, and the other
You're
partners,
supposed to be my safe space.
right, the other partner's lashing out or behaving in untoward ways or disrespectful ways or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That invites the petty in or the get back. I want to get my lick. I want to hurt you before you hurt me. I'm pissed off because you did this, so I'm gonna do that. And then, like so people always ask me, what do I think about cheating? Right. And I always say that that's my boundary. I don't cheat. And I learned that through my experience in my 20s. I was dating this guy, really, really, cared about him, and he cheated. And he told me about it and wanted to work things out. And I was just like stuck because I felt like, why not just talk to me before it got to that point? And he didn't really have what I felt like was a worthy rationale. He couldn't say, well, you were ignoring me or anything that I had done to hurt him or harm him. It was, it was an accident. The fuck, you don't just walk outside and fall in pussy. Like, no. So I said, oh, okay, no problem. I waited about a month or two, and I knew a friend of mine had been, trying to shoot his shot for a while, and I was like, bet. So I told the dude, then I broke up with him. And I got my lick back, but I also didn't like being that person. So I decided that that's my boundary. I don't cheat, right? If I get to the point where I feel like I am not really feeling you like that, or I'm starting to have a wandering eye or whatever, then I need to go on about my business because I have lost the connection with you that keeps me invested in you. And I'm either going to talk to you so we can try to figure it out and get beyond that and make it stronger, or I'm going to go on about my business because I don't cheat. Cheating is a boundary for me that if I find out you're cheating, you got to go because I'm not going to trust you again. You know what I'm saying? And so I recognized in that level of petty, though I felt vindicated in that moment, I also didn't like how it made me feel. And I think a
Right.
lot of times people get caught up in that cycle of they do something, they don't like how it makes them feel. Now they're mad at themselves for the thing that they did that made them feel differently about self. They're also mad at the person that they feel like inspired the behavior. So they get locked in this cycle of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, instead of removing themselves or figuring out how to work beyond it. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
cheating is one of those things that oftentimes, or the perception that you're flirting too much or being unfaithful in whatever way, is oftentimes a big reason behind people's pettiness. Sean, I see you nod your head. So what you got to
No,
chime in?
I'm just because for me, I guess it's because I'm always like, fuck that nigga. Like it don't matter what it is, who it is. Fuck, like, cause I'm me.
Right.
So it don't matter. Like you can do all that shit. It don't matter because I'm me.
Right.
I mean, that's just what it is.
Because
So
I'm gonna
yeah,
always find another one. So like
I
I'm gonna
mean,
either be good with you or without you.
and I mean, it's not. I'm not even thinking. First of all, what I'm thinking is like, nah, you can't take it. I mean, you can borrow it, but you can't take it for real. And that's only because probably I was like, it is what it is.
Hmm.
But other than that, nah, I ain't worried about nigga. Because at the end of the day, you breathe air like me, you bleed like me. You know, you just a man, just like I'm just a man. That's just what it is.
Well, so I was joking with another friend of mine, and we were talking about the fact that as women, I would also assume that it's similar for men, if not the same. As women, oftentimes the door that gives another person entry is when they are noticing you and your partner is not, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I was using it, we were talking about like compliments and stuff like that. And
Yep.
so I was joking and I said, we look, but we don't touch, right? Just because we just because we get into a relationship or we get married don't mean we go deaf, dumb, and blind. You know what I'm saying? Like we still have eyes, we still have ears, we still have noses that smell that amazing, cologne or perfume or whatever it is. We still notice people. It's okay to notice something that is attractive. It is not okay. Hey, Jason, it is not okay to be disrespectful with it. So we look
Right.
and we don't touch. Hold on one second. Nadina said your partner needs to know who you are and how you get down. I'm a natural flirt. I flirt with men, women, and children. That's my personality. Listen, equal opportunity. Everybody can get it. I love it.
Everybody can get it, but that's the thing though, is that people really need to understand, like you said, who you were in the beginning and who you are now. And like
Mhm.
some people get with you thinking you won't change, and some people get with you hoping you will.
Facts.
But you need listen. Stop with marrying potential, getting with potential,
Woo.
or getting with somebody because you think you can make them conform to what you think your ideal partner is. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. My ex-husband, let me tell you, like I said, I loved him, but he had potential from when we were in our 20s, right?
Mhm.
But he never grew to his potential. And he still became a man whore. He was still a whore. And so, like, shut up, Sean. So, there's that. I mean, I knew he was a whore in the beginning, but the whole
Oh,
thing is, again, I thought he wouldn't change. Shut up, Jason. But I'm just saying, like, the whole thing is that if you know who your partner is when you get them, and knowing this, you still decide to stay there, your fault. So, I mean, I played a good part in our divorce as well. But however, I knew because one, I had on blinders and I knew who he was in the beginning, and I still allowed it.
I'm all about. I feel like there's a middle ground, right? Because I am absolutely with you. I think women fall victim to that bullshit all the time, marrying potential of where we think a man will be instead of accepting him where he is. And I always tell my clients, if you can't love him right where he at, leave him where he is. Because if he
Absolutely.
never changes, if he never becomes anything that you think he can become, if he never accomplishes them dreams and does all that shit that he promising you, can you love him right where he is? But also leave room for growth because nobody's going to be the same in a year, 10 years, 20, 30, 40 years. Now, they might not accomplish all that bullshit, but they're still going to be a different version of themselves. So it has to be a balance, right? There has to be flexibility. And I'm not saying that men don't fall victim to that, but I hear
Right.
it more from women than men, right? So that being said, I think that there is something really powerful about recognizing where a person is, and then having that naked truth between the two of you to figure out what is it that you really desire, because your desires may not be theirs, and they may love you so much they want to be that, but if that's not truly them, you got to be honest enough with what they're truly communicating and what they're saying and what they're not saying, to see the soul of them, to understand that. You know what I'm saying? Jason said, do you think him being a man mentor was part of the attractiveness? Well, damn.
You know what, Jason? You may be right, because in the beginning, remember, I was in the alternative lifestyle in the beginning.
Oh,
So that was attractive at first. However, this is something that I learned a long time ago. Some people ain't meant to be shit. They are to serve as examples of what not to be. Like I tried to turn this was my good time guy, and I tried to turn a good time guy into a husband. Sean, if you don't stop that damn grinning, I wish I was
I'm
right.
sorry. I'm sorry. It's just funny because it's like you can't make no housewife. So
that's
you can't make
literally what I was thinking.
you can't make no good time guy out no husband. So I mean, hey, you know what I'm saying?
And you can't turn no pimp into a daggone house husband.
Listen, literally what I was thinking. You can't turn the hood rat into something for respectable.
Right.
Like this is why we gotta see a person. But this is so we have this conversation a lot in professional spaces, right? I'm sure you have both had this conversation a lot as well. Everybody ain't meant to run a business. Everybody ain't meant to be a business owner or entrepreneur. There are a lot of people
Everybody damn sure ain't meant to be a manager.
Right? So that being said, it's the same thing in relationships. Everybody's not meant to be husband or wife material, at least not where you find them, right? Sometimes they have a lot more growing to do before they get there, if at all. But a lot of times we as women, again, I hear it more from women than men, we as women have those stardust in our eyes, those rose-colored glasses. We see all the potential that he could be if he would just do the things instead of seeing his ass right where the fuck he is. And then same thing, stop trying to turn that hoe into a housewife and get mad when she hoeing. Like,
but you know the other thing though, Jay, and I'm just gonna keep it honest. A lot of times everybody wants to be that Instagram relationship that they keep seeing and thinking that it's all good. Listen, them Instagram relationships is fake as fuck. They only gonna show you the good stuff, because as you can see, a lot of them are now divorced or divorcing.
Yes.
So what you see is what they show you. They don't show you that they probably was arguing right before they took that picture. They don't show you all of that. And you know what, Jason? You got one more time to be damn disrespectful, and I'm gonna get on the road and come to Birmingham. And I mean it.
Listen,
I mean it, Jason.
I wish y'all knew, like real talk. I wish y'all knew the shit that we go through behind the scenes.
Right.
Like all the therapists out here that are like, oh my gosh, life is amazing. I can help you. We can help you. And we are fucked up behind the scenes because we are human. I wish y'all knew how many of those couples that have those pretty edited reels and they got the glorious houses with the gold stainless finish and the silverware and all the shit that they're showing you in the video. That house don't look like that 24/7, right? A lot of times they cleaning it before they clean it on the video with you, right? I wish that y'all really understood. Not saying y'all in general, because some people really do get it. But for those of you out here still comparing your life to what you see online on social media, this shit is not real. You're seeing 30 seconds in a 24-hour period. You know what I'm saying? You're seeing it sped up on 2 times the speed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it looked real good because, like you said, they don't see the argument. How many times? Listen, how many times I talked about this in ministry all the time? How many times did that couple pull up in the church parking lot cussing each other out? And then go inside and be like, hallelujah, praise the Lord. God is good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish that y'all really gave yourself grace to be messy humans, because we're all messy humans, right? Now,
Right.
let me throw this out here because Gypsy and I, now we ain't getting into all the business, but Gypsy and I were talking before we went live. And a lot of times I think we as women settle.
Right.
And it makes us petty. We
But wait,
settle for sex.
let me
And
say this now.
that does
Hold
not
on.
fulfill us and we
Wait.
become petty. Go ahead.
I gotta say something real quick. We
Hey,
settle until we get older and we realize that settling don't do work. Don't do, it doesn't do any justice. Because think about this. So Jay and I have been friends for a long time, right? She's always been younger than me, gonna always be younger than me. I reached my ain't falling for the bullshit, and I'm not settling because I ain't got but this much time left, and I am not gonna spend it with mediocre dick. Sorry.
That being said,
hold on, wait. So
What?
hold on, no, wait. So are you saying that you're not settling for mediocre dick, or you say like you're not settling?
That's it. See, I can make my
as
own money, honey. I
so
make my
as
own
long as it's
money.
not mediocre dick, you good. That's what you saying.
I can make my own money, honey.
I'm just asking. I was just.
Selling for me.
I was thought you was talking about settling like in a relationship,
Listen,
emotionally
hey,
wise.
that is part of the relationship.
But you like, nah, fuck that. I need good dick, and that's it.
No, what I'm saying is that better be part of your equation when you approach me. If you know you ain't shit in me, don't come over here.
Okay. All right.
Don't come over here.
you heard what I heard, Sean, right? Because I thought she was going somewhere else with that, but she just left that wide open. So okay, yeah.
But I'm just saying, well, I'm gonna be double nickels this year. I ain't got time for that shit. I'm almost out of here. I might not even make it to 60. I might slip and slide up out of here, but what I'm not gonna do is slip and slide with mediocre dick or a dick that don't get hard no more. Fuck out of here.
Oh damn. Well,
Phyllis,
I think I might have to get a youngin.
Phyllis, stay on your Cialis and your
Cialis
Viagra and them honey packs and
my ass.
all that shit.
Listen, no, but seriously though, the thing is that a lot of people trade chemistry, for security.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is a lot of people will settle, like, with, in all seriousness, a lot of people will settle with somebody because they can provide all the financial trappings, but their chemistry is whack. Like, they really don't like being around somebody. You know what I'm saying? They don't like being around that person,
and sometimes it's not financial. Sometimes it's emotional.
Right. And sometimes they just don't want to be. Gonna have to get a young bull. Yep, that's what I'm saying. Or somebody that still keep yourself up, because it's a lot of like 50-year-olds that still got their stuff together.
No, I'm getting it. And listen, how many young men are on ED support right now?
Right, Sean. No,
nah, we can't even say that. The young ones on ED support.
The fact. Hold up, Jay. The fact that when I said it's some 50-year-olds that still got their shit together, then Sean said. That's what I said. Ain't that right, Sean?
You know what?
I'm just saying. I don't be because I be hearing the statistics about these like 23 and 24-year-old cats using stuff.
Oh no, I ain't going that young. I'm not going that young.
I would have been crazy if I had used some stuff back then. I'd have had a heart attack or some dumb shit.
But
like, that's
on
crazy.
the flip side, let's throw this out here because I don't want it to seem like we only focusing on the sex. Some people settle when the sex is great and everything else is trash.
And no,
like
that's true.
Toxic dick and toxic pussy. You get what I'm saying? So my point was, like we were talking about before the show started, a lot of times we put ourselves in situations because there's something key about that person that we're really drawn to. You know what I'm saying? And everything else is trash. But we are drawn to that one thing that meets the biggest need we have, and we put blinders on for everything else.
I mean, you gotta admit that when that person comes along, it kind of knocks your socks off, and you be hypnotized for the most part. You know what I'm saying? At least for a little bit anyway, until you be like, oh shit, okay, let me wipe my eyes and look at the whole picture. You know what I'm saying? But initially, you get caught up. You know what I'm saying?
Now, Sean. Now, you know, you've heard me say this before. Y'all have heard me on the show say this before. I knew that my marriage was over when I used to see his car in our condo building parking deck, and I would say, "Fuck, he's at home."
I feel you.
So when you've been there, when you're at that point where you hate to see that they're at home, and you don't want to go home until they might be asleep because you just don't want to be bothered. Yeah. I was in the best shape ever, though, because I stayed at the fucking gym. I was fire.
Is that the only way you was getting in shape?
Yep, because he sure wasn't getting none, honey.
Oh, damn. And moving on.
Once I found out that he had community pain, no, we couldn't have no more. You got community pain.
So there comes some of the pettiness too that we all see in our lives, right? Like it's like, okay, this person messed up. I'm gonna go to the gym and get fine as hell, or I'm gonna change how I dress. I wasn't putting no effort into myself. Now I'm gonna put, because I'm already feeling good, I'm gonna put some effort into myself. Like people, we really be, y'all gotta admit, we really be out here wilding sometimes and doing the most to get back at somebody we don't even really want to be with. It becomes this emotional thing where we gotta prove a point, or we gotta get them. A lot of people fall into the trap of doing all the things to get that person to want you again, so you can prove a point. I'm like, just leave. Just leave.
I'm a sore loser. A lot of times it's about because I want to win. He was still in the lifestyle, Jason, even after we were supposedly had left the lifestyle. I left. He said he left. We had not gotten married until like 10 years after I left the lifestyle that he supposedly left as well. So there's also that. There's people being dishonest about where they are in life, you know, those kind of things too. But I'm just saying, if you in your 20s still, it's okay to want potential and to engage with someone that, no. When you're in your 20s and they're in their 20s, it is. It's okay to be with somebody that about their potential. But when you're in your 30s, you know, maybe it's time for him to realize he's not going to be the next Jay-Z and he ain't going to get no record deal. But when you in your 40s, if he's still trying to get a record deal.
Well, the reason I was shaking my head is because I'm not saying that we have to ignore potential. There's a certain part that we have to recognize this person has potential. We have to see their opportunity for growth, right? You have to be able to see yourself now and envision or imagine what you think the future could look like. But the reason I'm saying, even in our 20s, if you're still in your 20s and you see this, or you know somebody in their 20s, don't be out there choosing your person based on their potential. You still have to keep your eyes wide open. But see, a lot of people will take that and be like, see, no, don't choose them based on their potential. See their opportunity for growth. Yes. But if you're going to choose a person, I don't give a damn if you're 19 just getting out of high school. You got to see them right where they are. Because how many grown ass people have you met that are still reliving their glory days from high school when they was the cheerleader or the football star or the jock or the whoever and the whatever, and they never become the thing. So
I never said dumpster dive. I never said dumpster dive. I never said that. What I said is I never said dumpster dive. What I said is it's
dumpster dive. Back up.
Mm-hmm.
Why does it have to be dumpster diving to choose a person right where they are? Girl.
No. Well, okay, so anyway, I mean that is a little harsh. I mean, I do hate when people be like, "Oh, high school is the best years of my life." Cause like college was like high school on steroids. The fuck you talking about? But anyway,
Hell, right now should be the best years of your life. You should have money, be able to travel, But I'm just saying, like, if high school was the best years of your life when you was living off your parents, god damn, I hate it.
nah, see, college was because you ain't had no responsibilities, but you was living
Yeah,
like an adult. You was
but
living
like,
like an adult, but you ain't had no responsibilities.
be right back, guys.
You just had to go to class,
Jason
pass your
just said
test.
something that he forgot here to get it real quick. Listen, I ain't okay. The dumpster diving and all of that. Okay,
Yeah, that was
all I'm
harsh. That
saying
was
is
harsh.
that was harsh. But all I'm saying is, no matter what our age is, at some point we have to get to to the place of recognizing there are some times that people are going to be able to live every dream they have and supersede those dreams. And then there are going to be other times where even if they give it their best shot, they are not going to get where they thought that they were going to be because life kicked them in the teeth or whatever, right? And so are you marrying that person because like whichever one of y'all made a good point earlier of you married them because you thought they were going to go pro or get the record deal or whatever. Like, are you marrying them because you see that and you're hoping they're going to get there? Are you marrying them or dating them because they got a little financial well-being or some good dick or some good pussy? Are you marrying them because of what you think they can do for you or dating them? Or are you truly seeing the person right where they are, the room for growth, but recognizing if they don't change, I could be with them just as they are? Like, I think that there has to be a certain level of honesty
I
about them
mean,
and about your damn self. Like, we can't just
it,
look at the other person. They gotta be self too.
it does, and that's the whole thing. And that's what I always try to tell people. It's all about what can you accept, what can you deal with. At the
Yes.
end of the day, that's what it's about.
Nah,
And if you can't accept this person as who they are, then you
Let them
need
go.
not to fuck with them. Yeah, don't fuck with them. Leave them like because at the end of the day, either you gonna love them or you not. And
love
then
them or
that's
leave them,
and that's what it basically
What?
comes down to in a relationship. Do you love them or do you don't? Because if you don't love them, fuck them. Because
Yeah.
well, that's
and
what they
so
do. They
like
do fuck them,
but no
and
no
that's
no no
what they fall in love with.
but like I said, this goes back to my naivete because I'm like because if you love a person, then you love them fault and all. So you
So I'm
can't be
gonna
like
go
I
back to
love
something
this
Vinny
person
used to say.
and what's that?
I'm gonna go back to something Vinny used to say to me in the beginning when we started this. And him and Q and Michael used to be kind of tag teaming on me with it. And I really felt some kind of way at first. I didn't agree. And through reflection, I've come to understand when they said, Jay, you just ain't love nobody like that yet.
Right.
Because I think that love has a purpose. Absolutely. I think that love is beautiful. It's amazing. Makes life worth living, right? But I also believe that love is not enough to sustain anything by itself. So no matter how much you love a person, if they're not living up to the experience that you crave in your soul, we're not even talking about the superficial shit. We're talking about whatever your soul needs in order to thrive. No matter how much you love that person, you're going to be discontent and you're not
But
going to
what,
be happy.
but
Right.
what if you're not communicating that thing to that person?
Well, I'm
That person
speaking
is,
in the affirmative of if you've communicated it and then
oh okay.
they're not able to
Okay.
meet that
Okay.
standard, they don't want
And,
to
and,
and
and, and
change.
so that no, so that's different. That's different, and I understand because yeah, you can love them all you want to, but if they not trying to meet your basic needs, then yeah, I mean you got to
Y'all,
walk away.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Jason.
Alicia
First of
said,
all,
if you
I like what Alicia said.
hold on,
If there's
Alicia
one
said, if you don't
kept
want to be
on
kept, keep on. And then Jason said, questions for y'all. Do y'all keep up with y'all exes? Nah.
Huh?
Why?
Ain't no need to, yeah. But
I feel like ain't that much friendship in the fucking world. Like, why do you need to be friends with people? I don't understand that.
no.
Like, if you see each other in public, I'm not saying be ugly, but
Yeah.
it depends. If it was somebody you dated in high school, umpteen decades ago, fine, whatever. If y'all reconnect on Facebook, cool, be cool. But if it was something like people ask me all the time, why am I not friends with my ex? Why the fuck would I want to be friends with him with the closeness that we had, the time that No, that's a recipe for disaster for the both of us and anybody that we would have in our lives. Like, that's just a level of respect. You know what I'm saying? I think that people want to be friends to keep the door open. That's just me. And I could be
Okay,
wrong.
Jason, I'm gonna bite, and I'm gonna tell you what
Reason I
mine.
ask people change and grow up, would you hear them out? Okay,
Hold
Jason, are you
on.
saying be friends with them to get back together?
No, so this is the thing, Jason. With my ex-husband, it was actually January of 2021. Now we have been divorced for 3 years then. And I actually reached out to him and said, I apologized, not for leaving, not for divorcing him, but for the way I left. And the reason is because I took everything because I could.
Was it yours?
Some of his too, but I
Oh,
took his
no,
to
you was
the
wrong.
dumpster.
You was wrong.
Well, but that was part of my get back. And yeah, I took everything. But one of the things is I did apologize for how I left, and I apologized for, you know, the fact that we even got married, because what I told him is we did not need to be married. And I think part of my bitterness towards him was when my mother was dying, he went to the hospice. After I told him that I didn't want to get married that year, I was going to wait, that we could wait until the next year. He went to the hospice and asked my mother. And I didn't want my mother was in some severe pain because she had pancreatic cancer. And I didn't want my mother trying to hold on to see this wedding, right? So I went on and married him, even though I had doubts. The thing is I had told him I didn't want to get married because of some things I had seen, and that I wanted to wait, and that I needed to focus on my mom. But yeah,
So
so
I want
there
to ask.
was a lot of bitterness in there because of all of that. And so, yeah, my pettiness was able to kick in real quick as soon as, listen, you done begged my mother to marry me. My mother dies 35 days after we get married, and you already out here hoeing around. Bruh, bye.
So I want to ask you a heartfelt question. I'm gonna read Nadina's comment first, and then I want to ask you a question. And Jason, an ex from 20 years, reached out last night. I was like, what the fuck? He could have kept that door closed, so there was no reason to look back. Good luck to you and your future endeavors.
Unless you have kids together.
We ain't talking about that though. We just talking about random exes. So Gypsy, I do have a question. And I asked this. Now you know me and you. I'm never gonna try to be a bitch about it.
You know, I got you.
That being said, is there some accountability on your side? Because I understand he
It
went to
is.
hospice and begged your mom and all
It
that, all
is.
that
There is
great.
some.
But that being said, you were grown. And if you didn't want to marry him, that was an honest conversation you could have had. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because I had the same conversation with my grandmother before she passed. I knew that she was in excruciating pain, and I knew that she was waiting for me to get married and have kids. And we had that talk. She was holding on. And as painful as it was, I had to put my big girl panties on and say, as selfish as I want to be for you to be here and fight to see these things, I want for you to go in peace when you're ready. Whatever I have or don't have, I want for you to go in peace when you're ready. Right? You make that choice based on what you need. I'm gonna be okay. And so I'm asking you that because a lot of times you've forgiven him at this point, yes, but a lot of times we have held people hostage to things that wasn't really about them because that was an opportunity for you. And I'm asking this because somebody else may be watching, and I hope that it will change the trajectory
And,
for them.
and I'm going to answer it honestly. The thing is that I told you about how I forgave him, but the first person I had to forgive was me,
Yeah.
because I had to own the fact that married him, one, because I didn't have the courage to tell my mother I didn't want to. I didn't have the courage to tell him I didn't want to. I was in people pleasing mode, and at the same time, like it's something when you have an estranged relationship with someone and they're passing.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things that you want to say and so many conversations that you need to have and want to have, but you can't have because you really don't want to upset them and you really don't want to talk about it, even though you need to talk about it, but you don't want to talk about it because you have limited time and you don't want to spend that limited time focusing on stuff that you can't change. Neither of you can change. And so, to be honest, Jay, I figured that was the one thing I could do that could probably make her happy and not make her disappointed in me.
Mm.
And so, yeah, I did it. And the thing is that at one time, I mean, I loved his funky draws at one time, right? But I realized the him I fell in love with when we were in our 20s
Was not the same.
was not the same person when we got married in our 40s. And he was just, I could not see him for who he grew to be and realize that I didn't like nor could I tolerate that person.
I get that.
And to be honest, even at the end of our marriage, I became very resentful towards him because he had nerve after cheating. Hey, Jennifer.
Hey,
After
Jen.
cheating and everything, he had nerve to ask for alimony because I always made more than him, and he had nerve to ask for alimony. And so that's one of the reasons why I took everything because he asked for alimony. And she said, whatever was in my possession, I could keep, and whatever was in his possession, he could keep because we had no kids together, right? Well, we were supposed to be moving to Maryland, so I had everything because it was all on the truck. Whoops. Your poor planning doesn't constitute an emergency on my part.
I always say people want their problems to be your emergency.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really can't understand that. On the flip side of that, so I had that experience with my dad, right? Um, we were estranged for about 10 years before he passed. And that was my choosing because of his addiction and a lot of the things that, he had going on. Um, and so when I got the information, when like family reached out to me to tell me, um, that he was in ICU and things weren't looking good, that became its own. That I keep saying I'm gonna like do like a short movie about this shit and put it on Tubi because it's funny and ghetto and hilarious at the same time. Um, because it was like the same family that told me that he was in ICU tried to withhold the location so that I couldn't get there. So it was like all this shit going on, right? So anyway, I get there and we had our deathbed reconciliation, which is I had always prayed for that, before he left this earth, God, or before he leaves this earth, God, let us be at peace. So anyway, we had this deathbed reconciliation, where he couldn't talk, he couldn't move, he had coded multiple times while I was en route. And the nurses kept telling him, your daughter's on the way, like, hold on, she en route, so I get there and where he had been stuck and immobile for for however long, he started tracking again when I walked in the room, and like tears started rolling down his face. And it was all these things, right? It was this really intense moment. So he passed like 24 hours later.
Wow.
After I made it to the hospital. And I knew that he had been holding on. And the nurse ended up telling me, Sam was his name. The nurse ended up telling me that they had been asking, okay, well, does he have any kids? Like he's fighting for something and we don't know what, because he had been coding and he would rally and come back. And so this went on for like months. And then he passed 24 hours after I got there. So weeks after he passed, he started showing up to me. And I was like, I ain't ready for this. Like, I'm good. Miss me. So he started showing up to people around me and giving messages and weighing in on the person that I was dating, who I ended up marrying. And I didn't marry him because, you know, he gave his approval or anything like that. I made my own choice, but there were some things that he shared with me, you know, as one of my spirit guides that I took into consideration, right? And I realized after the fact, you know, as I was getting divorced, I realized that there were some things I had allowed to hold more weight than they should have. And so I'm sharing that because people always ask me, they saw how my ex-husband acted during the divorce. And they always ask me, how are you so at peace? Because if you catch me on a good day, I'll acknowledge that I still will always have some love for him. I'm not in love with him, don't really like him, never really want to see him again, but I honor the good that was there. I hold space for duality, right? And the reason I was able to do that is because at the end of the day, I recognize that I made my own choice. No matter how he may have chosen to act, no matter the things that destroyed us, I, as an adult, made my choice. And so I honored the things that were good and I acknowledged the things that were bad and I moved the fuck on. Now, I also had the benefit of choosing not to stay in a bad situation a long time, right? When it went south, I stepped up to the plate to do everything I felt like I could to help us get back on track or make things better. And when we just couldn't do that, I made my peace and I left, right? I chose not to stay just for longevity or just to say I did or just to say I was married or any of that other bullshit. So, and my hope is that whoever hears this will take it for whatever situation they have, right? There's duality in all things. So it's okay to acknowledge that you love the person and you chose them. And it's okay to acknowledge that they turned into some fuck shit or they were a weirdo or they were crazy as hell or whatever it is. And if you were the bad guy in the reason that things went south, it's okay to acknowledge that too. But we have to be able to acknowledge those things to move on to healing. Because y'all know that's the foundation really of everything we talk about here on the podcast is healing. And so it's okay to be like that motherfucker. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? We still have to be able to look at self. Jennifer said that needs to be a bumper sticker. Your problems are not my emergency list, Sam.
Right.
Facts on facts on facts. I've been saying that for 12 years since I got into property management. I used to explain to tenants all the time, baby, your problem is not my emergency. Not my fault that you waited to the last minute for this, whatever. If it's not a true emergency, you will hear from me when I get a chance to get to it. And I practice that same thing in life. So that being said, you know, my hope is that whoever's listening or whoever catches the replay recognizes that there really is space for duality.
It is.
To accept
And the thing is, but also own your shit. Own the part that you played in the demise and stuff. Because it's never 100% somebody else's fault.
Facts.
You know?
I mean, that's true on one hand. But then on the other hand, you know, it sometimes it just be a motherfucker that bring a whole bunch of bullshit when they don't got to. I'm just saying, you know, it be a motherfucker that bring a whole bunch of bullshit, but they don't got you.
Facts. Woo. Listen.
Okay, but the thing is that own your part in the bullshit though, because that's what I'm saying, Sean, is that a lot of times people will tell you he ain't shit, she ain't shit, da da da, she did this and she did that, he did this and he did that. But what the fuck did you do? I was a bitch when I could be.
That
I took things that I knew were important to him. I See, I own my bullshit, but at the same time, he brought that out of me.
Some
And
people
I
never
believe
want
what
the
Jennifer
real
said.
version of us.
Some people never want to meet the healed versions of us. So see ya. You're right. They want to meet that still toxic version of us. You're right. Because especially if that's the one that they're used to. But when the healed version of us shows up and says, you know what? Yeah, I'm not feeling you anymore because
Yeah.
this is not me. Then they get kind of pissed off about that. And sometimes they really don't want you. They just want to see if they can get you.
Oh, that's yes. Jennifer said,
Oh,
if
I
you
like
don't
this.
own your part, the universe will keep sending you the lesson again through many people till you learn that lesson. And Gypsy, I agree with you. A lot of times people just want to see, can they get you, or can they get you to go back to who you were to prove a point, or whatever it is, they want what they're getting from you in the behavior that you're exhibiting when you're that version of yourself. And so a lot of times people are not invested in your growth or your well-being and your healing. They want whatever they're going to get, and that's that. So that's why we have to be accountable to who we choose and not stay stuck in that cycle of petty, to stay with people that we recognize ain't shit, or we ain't shit when we're with them. Like, it ain't that much love in the world. Love can't fix everything.
And the other thing is to recognize the fact that sometimes you're buying into the fantasy of what you think relationships really are and not
Yeah.
really what relationships really are. Relationships are fucking work.
No,
And if
I
they are
understand that.
work, it's like a damn job every fucking day.
I
And
understand that. I shouldn't no woman expect no Prince Charming, and shouldn't no dude expect no Sleeping Beauty. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you gotta do what you gotta do, but at the same time, you can't be throwing that shit around lightly. Just you ain't gonna just, oh, I love you just because you here. Nah, fuck that. You gotta be real about that shit.
Yeah.
yep,
So
and you know
I
which
mean,
one right.
Jennifer said it's all about control. They want to drag you into their mud pile.
Yep,
and that's fucked
absolutely.
up.
Absolutely. And see, and because of that, I think that's why I became emotionally unavailable. I had been hurt a couple of times when I was younger, and it really blocked me off from people in general. Um, I think the one that changed me the most was DeMonte's father. My baby. I think I think his dad changed me the most. And I was wilding out after him. Like, I'm like, seriously, I was wilding out after him because um I truly did love him. I mean, I sacrificed my relationship with my mother. My mother didn't care for him. And so I said, he's gonna stay whether you like it or not. I'm still gonna be with him. And then it turned out that I wasn't that important either to him, right? And flaunted multiple women in my face. And then I found out that he had someone back home. And just because, when you're in active duty military, you might have a whole other life back home and shit. And it was just a lot. And I'm gonna be honest, I think I loved how Tony made me feel. That's my husband, my ex-husband. I think I love the way he made me feel, but I can't say I ever truly loved anyone after Tay's dad because I didn't trust anybody enough to be that vulnerable again. And that's why I would have them aha petty moments, because as soon as you did something I kind of expected anyway that you was going to do, the little fuck shit, I was ready to get my get back because I expected it. Because I, didn't trust you anyway. So I was already emotionally unavailable. And when you're emotionally unavailable, you can't love anybody because you got to figure out your own shit.
Jennifer said military relationships are a whole different level.
I know, because I mean, both of us were active duty, Jennifer. So, we were on some other shit. We was both active duty. We had other shit going on. Not to mention when we went down to San Diego, I was entertaining football players and shit. So yeah, the charges.
Sean is like, wait a minute, you're disclosing new information.
Charges, baby.
Well,
So,
what does entertaining football players mean? I mean, you can't just make a blanket statement and then
Take a sip, baby. Take a sip.
we partied,
uh,
and we partied.
I mean, did y'all party? Or did y'all diddy party?
No, not Diddy party. We ain't
Oh,
had no
oh,
money
okay,
or all this shit. Now we
okay.
partied at the clubs and stuff, but
Oh,
there
okay.
was also dinner at times and stuff like that. But oh, what a
You had
time!
some had some grade A2 steak.
Yeah, you can say I had that wagon. That wagon. Ha ha.
Ha ha ha
I know.
ha.
Ha ha. But
That being said,
that being said, you ready for me to close this out with a poem?
no, not yet.
Oh, okay, good.
Wait a minute. So I want to talk about that video we started out talking about before we went live. I know
Yeah.
it wasn't really necessarily a full topic, but I do feel like it kind of plays into that pettiness sometimes. So the video that you popped in the chat, Sean, about the dude reading the poem and like, oh, what did I get for my birthday? Damn, pussy again. Oh, what's this for Christmas? Damn, pussy again. Like whatever his lyrics were. But I think that sometimes people do that to be petty.
Yeah, because pussy and dick is not no present.
Listen.
But it's always funny how women always want to diminish the shit. That little poem about the
No, I didn't
pussy
mean it like
again.
that.
Women, that little. Oh, I saw your little post. Like I saw your little. Like come on, goddamn, what the fuck?
So first of all, nigga, you know me. I didn't mean it like that. But I also took issue with it. Shut up. and I said, I don't know. I can't really agree with that, right? Because that's not been my experience. Like, I think it depends on the dude. Because you have you and the lady, you got some people that are like, all I want is you. And then you have other people like, nah, shit, buy me all the gifts. So I think that sometimes, depending on how a person feels, how they're being treated, they'll resort to pettiness and either get shit that people don't want so they can take it back and have a reason to get the money back or get something they really want, or withhold it and just give sex or withhold the sex and all kind of shit. But I thought that was a good segue to add that in because we know people do it every day. Jennifer's, hold on one second, Sean. Jennifer said, I may have had a side hottie after my fiance cheated Fort Benning. Good days. Jason said, you hell, Sean. Listen, you see how he's coming for me? I was over here minding my business and he just came for me. I mean, if she brings new son, new pussy, then maybe.
I mean, they do got those rejuvenation spa days, where you can steam it and all that shit. So maybe that might be like, oh shit, but I'm saying, but just on a regular, like, yo, I done dropped all this on, and not saying it's not, but at the same time, it's like, come on, now, you can't just keep just be like, oh, I'm just gonna eat some ass and that's it. Like, come on, now.
I don't know, ass is special. You can get pussy all day, but ass is special.
Well, I wasn't really talking about actual anal, but at the same time,
I'm saying you left yourself open.
no. But at the same time, if it's your person, then whatever y'all do, nothing should be off the table. Whatever y'all do, whatever y'all level is, that nothing should be off the table. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess. But that's the thing. is, what'd you say? If she brings some new pussy, then maybe. I'm just saying, Jason, you never gonna see all the tricks at the first, the first 15 years or so. Every
Did
year
you
I'm
Wait,
gonna
say
bring
the
what?
out a
first
new
50
trick.
years?
First 15 years, every year I'm gonna bring out a new trick. I got tricks for tricks and tricks. Tricks are for kids. Woo! I got tricks on tricks on tricks, like that
that's
racks on
that's some
racks.
wild that's some wild shit.
Hey, you gotta
That's
keep
some
them
wild,
entertained. And then
some wild
every
shit.
now and then you got role play and stuff so that they can think they got a different one, and even do the little role play about meeting a stranger in the bar and shit. Yeah,
Hmm.
what? Gotta keep it entertaining. Keep it,
No, I
fun.
definitely agree with
I'm
you.
just saying, I'm just
But
saying. But the thing
if
is that
if it take a nigga 15 years, he ain't doing something right.
what? To get all the tricks? No, bitch. That means I got lots of tricks.
Okay, all right,
Lots of
okay.
tricks and treats.
I know astronomy and I know anatomy. It don't take no 15 years around the human body.
So it depends now.
Mm,
Been around the world and I. Oh, let me stop.
I can't find my baby. I don't know when. I don't know why. Listen, all I'm saying is don't discount the value of good pussy and good dick. Now, does it replace other things? No. But it is a part of having a healthy foundation in a good relationship.
And will it help you? Will it help you cope with some stress?
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
it
But
will.
I'm
Right?
just saying, it can't be a gift on its own. It's not a gift that
I
stands
know, I know, I know. Because at the same time, I'm giving you that good D, Shorty.
by itself.
Okay, it ain't like it's just a one way street. This is a mutual thing.
It ain't like you ain't getting yours too. Get the hell out of here.
Hey,
But
Jennifer,
it's
we love Lisa Stanfield too. Sean, whatever. Cause what is you talking about right there? Like, what?
because that's what I'm saying. They can't because women want to act like it's a gift. Like I'm giving you a gift too, Shorty. Shit. On
Oh,
top of
okay.
everything else I gave you.
Now that I agree with, it's all of it. You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't know, cause I'm a woman, so I'm gonna say it's a gift. It's like a preview of heaven. But that's not saying that the man ain't bringing something as enjoyable. I don't, whatever. However you think about it on your side.
Okay, 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 okay. 'Cause we would be doing this if it wasn't a mutually enjoyable thing. Get the fuck out of here. Shut the fuck
Right?
up.
Jennifer said it's fire. That's all I'm saying. What?
Yeah. I'm
Oh
just
shit.
saying, Sean, sometimes it's hmm.
Wait a minute. Gypsy just started slow stroking the dog. She over there having a memory, I think. What's going on, girl?
Ah!
Oh, they look like
That
Dr.
silk,
No.
that silky hair had got me all. I had lost myself for a bit.
Hey,
I was
he's
like,
going back.
oh, shit. Oh, shit. I remember when. You
Mm.
got me down. I'm having. I'm
Oh
having
my
too many
gosh.
memories. Listen, boys, y'all gotta stop all that whining. Get on there.
That took her way back. All right, come back to the
So
present,
deep,
girl. Come
I
back
was
to
like,
the present.
oh yeah, I remember. Oh, I remember. Yeah,
Don't go to
yeah.
the light, Caroline. Don't go to the
I
light.
was going to the light. I was going to the light.
Listen,
Woo!
that's the power of that good deed, though. Listen,
Right.
listen.
Reflecting and you be like, you done lost yourself. You don't remember where you at. You just
It just take you there. What's that song Madonna was singing? Um, like let's see, Life is a mystery. Everyone must see. I hear you calling my name, and it feels like home. Listen, it'll take you there. It'll.
You're right. Look, even Jennifer was like, "Ooh, snap!" She done got her head blew up. You right, girl.
It'll take you there.
Jim, girl, I lost myself for a second.
What Madonna say? Just like a prayer, your voice will take me there. I don't think she was just talking about Jesus, y'all. That's all I'm saying.
Child, it was just something. I was like, ooh, true. I was like, oh, what had happened was
Sean, stop. Hey, you don't be trying to act all macho. You
didn't have one of those.
I'm not hating. I'm just remembering how the
backyard
hair used to be. Backyard hair used to be like, after one of them sessions, you know what I'm saying? Backyard hair used to be like, oh yeah, I just did that.
Yeah, ain't nothing like going to get your hair done so you can look right for them, and then you
let it out.
What you finna do is pay for tomorrow's hairstyle because now you done fucked up what's supposed to have lasted a week.
Didn't the Dream have a song? Any the dude called a Dream? Didn't he have a song about that?
Yeah.
I just come on, y'all. I ain't saying it's everything, but it's everything. Like good.
It's everything. I mean, mess up my hair, sweat my perm out.
That being said, that good be having folk out here acting a whole fool.
Oh my gosh, right?
Like, yeah.
Right. There is that part. Like, I don't want that good where I be hiding in bushes and stuff and jumping out like ass. No.
I rebuke you. In the name of Christ, I rebuke you.
Be trying to treat them like a vampire.
Hey, you don't want that good. You like jumping out and following and waiting at his job and stuff, or waiting at her job. Make it look. Yeah.
I think in some cases it replaces the gift and maybe even better than the gift. Not long term, but in the short term, yes.
Yeah, don't try to work where I work because you got sprung and shit. Because I don't sleep where I sleep because you get crumbs in the bed. I learned that from my ex as well. Where's that? I learned that from him. Yeah, I can't eat and sleep in the same place. You get crumbs in the bed. And so that's why I always tell people, if this is where you make your money, keep it separate. You're going to have to look somewhere else. I don't give a fuck if you work 12 to 14 hours a day. Find his ass at the grocery store. Because, like, seriously, there is nothing worse than dating someone you work with, and then, God forbid, it go wrong. And now you got to still work together. And sometimes people's petty gets really fucked up.
Yeah, especially on the job.
If they see you every day and work. Hey, I'm with Tanya right there. That's my girl.
Petty be trying to get you fired.
Right.
Get you killed.
Never get your meat when you get your bread.
You better come on, Tanya.
Come on, girl. Singing today.
I had to, You better come on, Tanya.
That's right. That's right. See, that's the thing is that, I understand we're at work so many hours a day and things like that. But at the same time, like, have some boundaries. Figure out where you can go out, do something after hours. Don't go to work and come home because nobody knows you live there. They not gonna knock on your door and say, I'm a man and I'm looking for a wife.
Some people just don't know how to do that. Don't ask me why. They just don't know how to say, you know what, I'm gonna go over here and I'm just gonna do some shit.
And some people, I never understood this. People are afraid to eat by themselves. Like,
I wholeheartedly agree with Tanya. Don't get your meat where you got your bread at. But
mhm.
that being said, I do understand sometimes you can't help what love chooses to make itself known. However, spirit is intertwined your paths. And there's some people that you're just supposed to meet, and that's just how it's supposed to happen. Maybe that's the only place that you would have crossed paths. I don't know. But I think in those situations, you got to have ironclad boundaries. There needs to be clear communication on what's going on. And you need to make sure that you really have checked that person out and you've seen them display the different sides of their character, because just because you met them today don't mean you need to start dating them on Tuesday and they just started working there on Monday. Like, take time to get to know people before you fuck up your job situation or your finance over some possible romance or dick or vagina. Like, if you're gonna take that leap, make sure that you have done your homework first. That's all I'm gonna say.
And the other thing is that wait and see if he's about to be the community peen. Because if he's the community peen, don't fuck your job up for community peen.
And oftentimes, if people consider it worth it, I've seen people, one of the partners decide, I'm going to transfer to a different location or to a different shift or whatever. So
Right.
that way you still have some anonymity, some privacy, some separation. You know what I'm saying? And that's usually based on who has seniority. Whoever has seniority stays. The newest kid on the block goes to the other thing. You right? Because if you really think
Right.
it's worth fighting for and it's worth having, then you're going to do what it takes to make sure that it's safe and it's protected, and you keep that person safe and protected too.
Well, I'm finna tell you, I like my little job,
I
and
like big butts and I cannot lie. You other brother.
and I like the little shit. It helps me get like food and shelter, and so yeah, you ain't finna catch me at this big age, uh, finding my meat where I got my bread.
I get it.
Because there's a you know, the other thing though, Jay, for real, is, let's just be honest. Some of the salaries that a lot of us are making, that would be a huge sacrifice to mess your job up for a potential, or
Right.
even a person that, yeah, you date, but then after you date, it becomes toxic and they say one or both of you have to leave.
Have to go. Right. Right.
And some salaries you cannot replace just like that.
Jennifer said there was an ER doc who was nailing off the nurses and then a pick surface. He did porn to pay for med school. Well, damn.
Oh shit.
And I ain't even judging him on the porn. Do what you do. You grown, but that's the exact thing. Like Gypsy was saying, make sure it's not community peen.
So
Right.
y'all saying I need to get my taco from across the street, not from where I
Yep.
work at.
Facts.
That's it. Facts.
When I want that fur burger, I need to go down the street.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts. And
That's what y'all saying.
don't let that fur burger follow you back to your job. Because when she find out where you work, she gonna be coming in there trying to do transactions and shit.
Half the nurses quit. See?
That's what I'm saying. The thing is that you also, you know where you are, but you don't know where they are mentally, like, and emotionally. And the thing is that person might not be emotionally or mentally stable enough to handle while working together.
No. I found that out in my early 20s.
Have you made that mistake? Real talk. Have you made that mistake since?
No, that's what I said. I found out in my early 20s, like, oh no, not doing that. Nope.
So you've not dated anyone that you work with ever again after that? Yeah, that's when I found out too, was in my 20s, and I'm like,
I found out at 19 or 20. This is way back when like Kmart was a thing, right? And I was a cashier at Kmart, and so I was always in the layaway department. And you know, the way they used to do it, you had to rotate the stuff out. What the hell? Jennifer said on the deal. You know, with the layaways, when they didn't pay their layaways out, you would have to go up there and pull that inventory so you could put it back on the floor after a while. So the
Right.
guy, we were just honestly good friends. There was nothing going on. Now we did end up dating later on after the fact, after he left. But he was security. He would come up and help get the heavier stuff because we had to get it downstairs. So he would come upstairs when I was pulling stuff and help get the heavier stuff down for me. And I'll never forget those raggedy, jealous bitches. Like it was several older ladies there that liked him. And every time they saw him come back there to help me, oh, they must be sleeping together. They must be doing. And I realized then, like,
Ooh.
y'all ain't got shit else to do but mind mine, right? Why are you minding my womb and my vagina and whatever else I got going on? And why make assumptions and start possible rumors, right? Because these were women in their 20s and 30s. And I learned then, like, from when I was walking past, this is how I found out. I was walking down an aisle and two ladies were on another aisle talking and they didn't see me. And I walked past and heard them because I was hidden behind the dresses. And I was like, oh. And then a new girl had heard them too and came up talking to me and didn't realize they were talking about me and was telling me everything that they were saying. So I realized, right. I was like, what the fuck? I was like 19 or 20, like, ain't no way, no. So I learned, like, he eventually left and took a different job somewhere else. And we did end up dating after the fact. He ended up being like a really great guy. But that lesson stuck with me. The only other time I ended up working with somebody that I dated, we were already in a relationship. And we ended up working at the same place for like 6 months. But nobody knew that we were together. Like, we kept it. We drove separate cars. We, barely engaged.
Were you in different departments?
I want to say, I think we were in the same department, but we might have been in different departments. I don't remember now because it's been like 20 years ago. But I know that we were very intentional about keeping it. Like, we drove separate cars. We barely engaged when we were there. We made sure to keep it, 1,000 feet. And kind of hang out with everybody else when we were on shift because we were on the same shift. I do remember that. But yeah, I learned from that very first experience, like, people will talk and they will make up shit when they don't know what the fuck is going on. So I definitely didn't want to give them something to talk about when it was something really going. You know what I'm saying?
Give them something to talk about.
Yeah, but other than that, like I said, I'm not a big fan of it. I feel like keep it separate. But if you're gonna do it, I just say vet the person and take your time and get to know them and make sure it's worth whatever risk and whatever consequences may come if it doesn't work out. And even if it works out, whatever risk and whatever consequences may come because of it, because there are some jobs that have no fraternizing policies or no family, policies, whether it's the same department or in the company or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And that's a question that comes up whenever I do different trainings, like HR trainings and different things. Companies have to consider how y'all feel. Is this in your policy? Is it against your policy? Like, what happens if two people meet and they decide they want to start dating? Because then you run the risk of sexual harassment claims and a whole bunch of other things that come into play. So it's not just about the two people wanting to be together. You know what I'm saying? Listen. With that being said, Gypsy, you ready to go ahead and close us out? Y'all, my back hurt. I can't even lie. I was trying to hang in the back hurt. You ready to close us out with a poem?
Your back hurt.
With the ill na.
Your back hurt.
Nigga.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I had got off again. Okay. All right, here we go, y'all. We're sorry, but the heart you have reached is emotionally unavailable. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please try the heart again. I feel like you're dating the same person with different faces. I mean, same situation, just different phases. I think I like commitment. Really, I do. It just seems that I picked the guys with a lot of issues. Now, I'm not saying I'm issue free, but I've spent a lot of time working on me. And this ain't about me, it's about them. And why I keep dating the same old him. Him manifested in different ways, whether he's sporting dreads or even a fade. I mean, I keep getting men who are content when we just date and always want to seem to keep me around, just in case. So let's look at the word date, because really it means to look for a mate. Webster says it's to court or woo. Well, that's a nice way of saying, let me get a marriage preview. Personally, I think dating is cold. It means I'm still shopping. I ain't sold. Still a free agent because he hasn't signed on the line. And, so don't hound him about his space or time. So I think I'm going to date like men do. Hold on now. I said date, not screw. So don't go confusing the two. Because trust me, they are not the same. Folks just use the same name. I will not be the back burner chick because really, dude, I am not that lovesick. And while I'm an option, you want to be my priority? Everything on hold? Come on, are you kidding me? So, see, I had it backwards all before. Either like my new rules or here's the door. So this is how it's going to go. This is the new ebb and flow. I'm going to put it to you like you are a pair of shoes so you can relate. This is the new way gypsies gonna date. Gonna try you on and walk around the store. Gonna walk on both carpet and bare floor. Not gonna buy you just because you fit. Gonna make sure the color's right and the style's legit. Gonna make sure I lease first with the option to buy, because I'll trade you in if you ain't right. I gotta stop being Miss Just in Case. And maybe I'll get Mr. Right behind that different face.
All right now.
Yeah. That was nice. That was real nice.
I'm still
Thank
looking.
you for sharing, darling. With that being said, thank y'all for tuning in. As always, we love you and appreciate you. Again, make sure you hit that subscribe button on the channel so you get the notifications when we go live, y'all. If you ain't liked this video yet, make sure before you click out, you like the video. And for real, though, grab that link, because if you're not sharing it, I don't really think you like your people. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely, you don't like your people. You don't like your people. Like,
Tanya said, love it. Hand claps from Jennifer. Yes.
That's my bestie, y'all.
Hey,
Oh
bestie.
my gosh,
Hey.
my bestie's birthday is coming up, y'all, next week.
Happy birthday, bestie.
My bestie's birthday is coming up next week. We're going to be double nickels this year.
Hey.
Remember, I told you now we met when we were 12.
Thank you, Jennifer. You have a great week as well, love bug.
Have a
Happy
great week,
birthday.
Jennifer. Love you.
Bestie. We will see y'all next week. And in the meantime, make sure that you click that link to fill out the form if you want to send us topics and questions anonymously. You can always also send us an email.
But wait a minute. Before you send questions anonymously, please go check the archives. Go check the archives, because there have been times that we have sat here and done a meet the panel, and we have actually answered questions before. We've also answered questions live in the chat. As you can see, we don't have a problem with answering questions, no matter how, no matter how controversial they may be. We answer questions. So, no, but seriously though, please go and check the archives. Please help us get our streaming up, because if you help us get our streaming up, we'll float to the top of YouTube and be in the nice search engine. So even if you just play us and listen, you don't have to watch it. You can just listen or just have it playing. Go and play our library so that you can get us up to the chat. All right. That's my.
With that, we love you. That was Gypsy's PSA.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for coming to our TED Talk. No, thank you again, Gypsy, for your poem. Thank you for your vulnerability in the ways that you share. Y'all know I love you, Sean and Gypsy.
Mhm.
Thank y'all for those of you in the audience, and we'll see you next week. The email is up on the screen if you want to send us your questions that way.
Yeah.
But again, like Gypsy said, go back and catch the replays. And if nothing else, just continue to support us. I know some of y'all raggities is still scrolling and just looking at the video instead of clicking in because y'all keep
Right.
messaging me. That's why I don't answer y'all no more. Like I'm
Yep. We don't answer y'all when y'all be coming in our inbox, coming in our daggone texting us and stuff
yeah.
during the show. You know we on the air. You texting us, oh yeah, I would have said blah 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 blah. Well then say it then. We got our chat is open.
Oh,
Stop being served.
I did forget to say this though. So I had a friend that watched when we were talking about the first date part of the discussion last week, and whether, if a woman was out on a date with a guy, first date, if he forgets his wallet, if it's in a relationship, all those kind of things. Now, so he did say that something I said really caught his attention and made him go handle some business, because my
Okay.
thing was, as women, we are looking at how you enter into that experience. That gives us the ability to discern whether we want to start to put some trust in you, whether we feel safe
Right.
with you. Do you have provision? Whatever. Do you have your shit together? And so
Right.
he was like, you made a good point about, even if you walk out without your wallet, most people are not going to walk out without their phones. So he
Right.
actually went and got his cards added to his digital wallet, because he was like, you got
Go,
a point.
baby.
And as a man, I can't expect a woman to want to trust me or feel like I got my shit together if I can't handle the basics of
Right.
making sure, you know what I'm saying, I can handle any
Right.
situation, whether it's a date or not. Can you respond to situations if they happen when you leave the house? So I
Right.
did want to throw that out there, Sean. You got
That's
something to say?
I mean, yeah, I mean, shit, motherfucker, it sets you up a goddamn digital wallet, first of all, because it can happen to the best of us. And as long
right.
as you can pay, you can pay. But second of all, it was never a first date situation. But
Right.
y'all wanted to make it a first date
I didn't make
situation.
it a first date situation. Remember, I was with you when you was right.
Well,
I
well,
said it was not a first date.
but you know what I'm saying. But like okay, all right, because that's y'all
Yeah.
caveat to like if it's a first date, no, like okay, I understand
Mhm.
that nobody was talking about that, but
I said either or. If it was the first date, it'd be the last date. Yes, I'd pay, but I'd block that ass on the way to the parking lot. But
So the
if it
reason I
was
said
the
first date was
continue,
because when he
right,
was telling me that he had gone back and watched the replay,
right,
I was sharing, okay, well, this is what I said. So
right,
now let me hear your vantage point, because this is where I was. If I'm in it with somebody, I got you, baby, because I know you're gonna get me, or you've already had me, right? You've already had my back. You've already proven yourself. Whatever it is I'm looking for, shit, we in it to win it. But if it's a first date, ain't no motherfucking way. That's where I
right,
see
stood. So
that
his
was
response was, just as a man wanting to provide that safety for the woman in his life, hey, I did this extra step because whether it's the first date or the 20th date, I
right.
always want to make sure I can cover us and we good.
Mhm.
but see the whole point of that exercise was to point out the difference between
A wife and
girlfriend
a girlfriend.
material and wifey material.
Hmm.
Well,
So
I guess I, if that's the sentence,
you
then
will
I ain't wifey
fall.
material then, because what the fuck? No. I
So
don't want
you
to
got
wife
no
no dude that's
you
showing
got
that he not gonna
nah.
handle his
See
business.
you got it backwards. You got
Okay,
it
please help
backwards.
me understand.
Just from what you just said means you would fall under wifey material because if that's the dude you with and that happened, you would have his back.
Oh
Right.
yeah, okay, yeah, yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
the whole point of the
That was
exercise.
the whole point because she had been with him for a while, and then she was like, "You forgot your wallet. Oh shit, we gotta turn around. We gotta do this." That's why he said that. But I said, even if it was the first date, I would pay because I ain't never going nowhere that I can't afford to pay myself,
Right.
right? But I would pay, but it would be the first and last date because what you're not gonna do is trick on me. That part.
And see,
So yeah.
my whole thing is, and that's because I'm a feminist. I believe in equal rights, and I believe in women women power. You know what
First
I'm
of all, I'm a woman and I ain't
saying?
no damn feminist. Fuck the feminist
I'm
movement
And-
because
not
it was
either,
never
but
really situated to benefit Black women. So
that part.
but
what is
but
we
yo,
talking about
it's
right now?
it's like whoever say let's go out, okay? Because if I ask you out, I already plan on paying. So if you ask me like, hey, let's go out, okay, cool. I'm expecting you to pay.
There's two things I'm not gonna do. I'm not asking a man out, and I ain't asking his ass to marry me.
Hey, and that's cool.
So by that standard, I should never be expected to pay because I'm not doing the asking.
And that's cool. And that's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
But as far as the feminist thing, I want to be clear about what I said. I am not knocking women's movement as a whole so that we have equality in some respects. What I am being very clear to say is I'm not a feminist, nor have I ever considered myself to be, or will I ever consider myself to be a feminist, because that movement was not about us.
But y'all done
It was
heard
not.
about Sadie
And
Hawkins.
every opportunity they got to cut us out of it, they did.
I heard about Sadie Hawkins, and I never went to that goddamn dance because I ain't asking no dude to go dance with me. That part.
No.
Sometimes you gotta ask a dude out. Like, hey, let's go to the macaroni hut.
No. That ain't never finna happen.
Not that motherfucker was in unison with the no.
I don't yuck nobody else's yum, but I ain't the one that's gonna be asking nobody out, and I'm not gonna be asking nobody to marry me. Now I joke when we be like talking shit, and I be like, shoot your shot, ladies. I mean, I hype people up because if they like it, I love it. If you want to do it, go for it. That's
but
just
I'm not gonna do it. And the thing is that there's too many
See how y'all probably blocking your blessings.
well, then I'm just gonna block the hell on then,
because I got plenty of without answers. Right.
I'm not gonna be dragging ass out here trying to entice nobody or trying to ask somebody to see the value in me. No, the fact is that what you gotta do is you gotta know who you are and whose you are, and know that the person who is meant for you will see the value in you without you having to ask them out, drag them along, flaunt your shit, put your titties in their face. Oh, I mean,
sometimes I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes motherfuckers just be oblivious because they just be like wherever they at, and they not really paying attention.
You just weren't supposed to meet
but
me.
Then he just gonna miss his blessing.
What? No, listen, I ain't had no shortage. So if that's me blocking, shit, maybe I need to block some more, right? But that being said,
I'm gonna be a linebacker in this bitch if that's it.
Really, you feel me? Cause no. And again, I'm not knocking. This ain't about me trying to judge nobody else, but I'm very clear on where I sit with it. Like that's just not my lane. You know what I'm saying? And I always tell people I'm not necessarily fully traditional. Well, I'm not really fully traditional. I got a little bit of old school in me. I got a little bit of current. And that's the mix that whoever's in my life has to figure out how to navigate, just like I have to figure out theirs. But one thing's for sure and two things for motherfucking certain. You're going to be opening my doors. I like gallantry. I like a gentleman. You understand what I'm saying? And so I just, no.
That being said, y'all, bye.
Because we got right back into it, didn't we? We gotta do our thing behind the scenes. Y'all, we love y'all. Thank y'all for hanging in there with us to the end, even though we started talking shit again. And we will see y'all next week.